to another video from HSTV, and in today's video, as you can see by the video title, I'm going to be reviewing and unboxing Apple's iPhone 17 Pro Max. Now for those of you who've been following this channel for a while, you know how anti-Apple I have been. So why have I decided to make this move now? Stay tuned for the rest of the video. Let's go into the unboxing. Alright, so we have got the iPhone 17 Pro Max here in its box. You can see that I reluctantly went for the cosmic orange because that seems to be the signature color. This is the 256 GB model, and you guys are going to be seeing my first hand reaction because this is my very first iPhone. So let's get straight into it. Just like with the MacBook, we have our little thing here that we can open. Like so. And a thing here at the bottom. Okay, get this out of the way. Right, here we go, guys. This is the official reveal. If I can get the box off. Wow. And there we go. And I have to say, the last time that I had any experience with iPhones, it was a long time ago, back when the iPhone 4G was out, and it was certainly much smaller than this. Now Apple is absolutely matching the screen size of a lot of the other Android phones that I am used to using. But here we are. Let's switch this guy on. And obviously I'm going to have to get used to all of the different buttons as well now. The volume seems to be on the opposite side. We have this new button over here that I'm going to have to figure out. I think it's something to do with Apple Intelligence. And we also have this camera button, which I'm not used to with the Samsung phones as well. So lots of new features to get used to. While this is turning on, let's have a look at what else is inside the box. So I see that we are essentially given the C cable. Now thank God Apple is also using the C cable just like Samsung. And we also have the SIM pin here. So I have to say that the actual quality of the wire is much nicer than the Samsung. The Samsungs just use a standard wire. This is a bit more sort of cord type wire. So that's nice that we get a C cable in the box. Other than that, this is just some paperwork. And I think that's it. So pretty slim box, and first impressions, you know, it does feel quite premium. The quality, it looks good, and you know, we'll go over that. This is all aluminium now. And we will go into all of that. But I need to go and set this guy up so that I can actually start using it. I do indeed have a Apple ID now, so at least I can log in. But yeah, I'm going to go and set this up and then come back to you guys. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed that little unboxing. Now if you are new to the channel and you don't know who I am, my name is Heen Shamaz and I am a final year medical student here at the University of Edinburgh. And when I first came into medical school back in 2020, I set up my whole Samsung, Android and Windows based ecosystem. I had the Tab S7 Plus, I used a Windows PC, and I've always had a Samsung phone. But recently, I've decided to shift up my kind of setup. And it all started when I bought the MacBook back in December. Keep a lookout for that review coming soon. And then, a couple of days ago, my S22 Ultra, which I've never had any issues with, completely glitched out on me, as in it just went into this restart loop where it wasn't turning on. So I was in a bit of a panic and I needed a phone because you know how it is at medical school, right? There's just emails and messages and everything is tied to your phone, and you don't quite realize how dependent you are until you lose your phone. So anyways, I needed to upgrade fast, and I thought, well, I've already upgraded with the MacBook, I might as well invest full on in to iOS and go for the iPhone. So starting with the design, I have to say I'm still not completely sold on this cosmic orange colour. It's definitely not my usual choice, but I will give Apple a bit of credit. It does stand out and it's nice to see something a bit different from the usual neutrals. In terms of the actual build, the phone feels quite slim for its size, especially considering that this is a Pro Max model with the 6.9-inch display and the slightly larger battery size. It's large, but doesn't feel overly bulky in the hand, which I was a bit worried about, and I do have small hands. The camera module on the back is quite prominent, but honestly I don't mind it. It's become a bit of a standard, I think, as part of flagship phone design now, and it almost feels expected. It adds to that premium look. And although, yes, it all feels premium, you know, the materials, the weight, the finish, everything feels high-end, it doesn't feel drastically different from other flagship devices that I've used, especially like the Samsung phones. Moving on to the display, this is definitely one of the highlights. You've got a beautiful, large 6.9-inch Super Retina XDR display with ProMotion. So that means everything feels incredibly smooth, scrolling, switching between apps, opening things, it's all very fluid and responsive. Watching content on this is also a really good experience. The screen is bright, the colours look vibrant without being too over the top, and it's just a pretty enjoyable display to use whether you're watching videos or just scrolling. I'd say the only slight downside is the speaker placement, and I know iPhones have had this for a very long time, but depending on how you're holding the phone, it can be quite easy to accidentally cover them up, which does affect the audio. But overall, I think the combination of the design and the display makes this feel like a very polished device. Okay, so let's talk camera. It's one of the big reasons I went for the Pro Max rather than just the Pro version. And we hear things all the time about how great the iPhone camera is. So I've not had many opportunities to use the camera yet, so I can't give you my full review. However, I can go through some of my first impressions and what I think of the photos so far. Okay, I'm not going to overcomplicate things by breaking down every single lens or spec, because at the end of the day, there's loads of reviews that already do that, and I think it comes down to how the photos actually look, and I think that they look great. The colours are vibrant, slightly on the warmer side, and overall just quite pleasing straight out of the camera. You don't have to do much sort of post-production editing to get them to a standard that you like. The telephoto zoom is solid, it's definitely useful, but I wouldn't say it's as strong as some of the Samsung phones I've used. But still, for most everyday situations, it does the job well. I'd say even in low light, the photos do come out quite bright and clear, and the night mode doesn't make the photo look too artificial. The wide lens, it also works well, and the zoom is where I think this lacks a little. In low light especially, the photo isn't as clear. I do need to play a bit more with portrait mode, but so far I think that the background blur looks clean, and I like that you can adjust the depth afterwards to get the exact look you want. And then there's live photos, which is a really interesting feature. It basically captures a short moment around the photo, almost like a subtle animation, and you can even use it on your lock screen, which doesn't really add anything practical, but it's a nice little touch for customization. So for those of you who might be considering switching, it is definitely a learning curve, and you might lose a lot of your data. For example, on WhatsApp, I used to back up my chats on Google Drive. However, when you log into WhatsApp on iPhone, it's backed up using iCloud, so I actually lost all my WhatsApp chats. Okay, productivity. This is something that I'm still working on. As I said, it's only been a few days since I've had this phone. I'm still trying to figure out what on earth Apple Pages is, Apple Notes, the calendar app, the reminder app. It's just a different ecosystem, and I know in the long term, once I've got a grasp on things, it's gonna work well. However, at the moment, moving from things like Samsung Notes and the calendar apps that I'm used to, it's been really hard. So one of the special features is this new action button. You can basically customize it to do whatever you want, whether that's opening the camera, turning on the torch, or running shortcuts. Personally, I've set it to use this Apple Intelligence, which makes it quite convenient. You can just press the button, take a quick photo, and instantly search or get information on whatever you're looking at. So I think over the next few months, I'm going to keep you guys updated with my progress on trying to learn everything on iOS. I have to say that the compatibility between iPhone and MacBook has been extremely evident right from day one. Whatever I open on my iPhone, it opens up on my MacBook as well. If I copy and paste something, it will take it from iPhone and paste it onto MacBook. The actual collaboration between the two devices is really seamless. Alright everybody, well that is going to be the end of this video. I hope you've enjoyed my little review of the iPhone 17 Pro Max. It's certainly going to take me a little bit of time to get used to things, but I will keep you guys updated. So let me know your views down below, and also give me your best tips and tricks for how I can start using my iPhone to its maximum efficiency. And I'll see you all in my next video. Goodbye.